All right, Maddie, I'm going to go ahead and begin. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our time management workshop for the fall semester. My name is Mr. Jamel T. Johnson, and I'm the Senior Assistant Director for Mentoring and Retention in our Center for Student Success. Today, we're going to explore some time management tools, as well as I'm going to interact with you by using my personal calendar to show you how to use Google Calendar a little more effectively. That might help you thrive as you go throughout the semester. So you won't, I've blocked out everything that's personal. You don't have to worry about seeing my personal information, but you will see how to develop a calendar from the ground up. Now, many of you have used the Google Calendar. Many of you probably are better at it than I. I just want to be able to present to you some useful tips that I think will be beneficial for you on today. Do forgive me, I'm going to apologize early. You know, we're all working remotely. So I have two children who you might hear. I'm pretty much isolated from them, but they can get a little bit loud. So just, disregard their noise if you hear it. So the first thing we want to talk about this afternoon is understanding what time management is. The first thing you need to understand is that you cannot manage time. The fact of the matter is that there are 24 hours in a day. There's 7 days a week, 365, 366 days in a year. That is not changing. 2 times a year it changes when you spring forward and you fall back with the times. That's the only time it changes. Other than that, we're not manipulating time. So we have to shift time management into understanding that it is a piece of self-management. It is how do we manage ourselves? How do we manage what we're engaged in, what we are involved in? How do we manage what we do within the time that we are given? Many students, all of us at one time, are used to spending 6.5 to 7 hours a day in the school setting. We know from 8:30 to 3:30 or from 7 to 2, we know that we will be in school. We know that if you're at home, you know that if it's sleeping, if it's early morning from the hours of 2 to 6, you're going to be at home. Our time was fixated on certain things. But now that we're in higher education, now that we're pursuing degrees, now that we don't have class every day, now we might have a class at 8 o'clock and not again until 2 o'clock, is what do we do with the time in between? How do we structure that time so that we're able to thrive? You will hear me talk about thriving a lot this afternoon. You will hear me talk about doing the best we can in our optimal learning environment a lot, because that's what I believe in. But we have to understand when we deal with time management that we're not dealing with managing time. That's not changing, but what we do with the time is able to change. So the first thing you need to consider is what's on your plate. You need to consider everything that you're doing, everything that you're engaged in, everything that you want to do, everything that you're obligated to do, everything that you're signed up to do. You need to know what is on your plate. Why do you need to know what's on your plate? Is because you don't want any surprises. Now, some people may argue about being spontaneous, but there's even time allotted for that, because you can't be spontaneous in time that you do not have. That is why we want to manage ourselves according to the time that we're given in a day. And a lot of people don't understand what they need to consider to being on their plate. A lot of people will say, okay, I'm a student, so the only thing I'm going to consider is academic time and study time. If you just consider your academic time and your study time, I'm telling you, you're doing it wrong. There's so many other things you need to consider when you're dealing with what's on your plate. So, what is on your plate? What are some of the things that you will be managing? The first thing is fostering new relationships and maintaining old relationships. That takes time. If any of you are in any type of relationship, you know that you just don't have a strong relationship when you meet somebody. It takes time to develop, to nurture, to cultivate, and to really weed out who's for you and who's not for you in relationship building. You might have employment, or you might need to volunteer. If you are a first-year student, you might have some CEL time to do. If you're one of our Bonner scholars, you have over 100 hours you need to do. If you are somebody working their way through college, you have some hours you need to put in on the job. Some people have just things, volunteer activities that they do all the time because they enjoy it. It's more of a hobby, but these are things that are on your plate. And these are things you have to consider when you're trying to juggle and manage all that you're engaged in. Next is athletics. Whether it's Division III, whether it's club, whether it's intramural, whether it's just fun that you do, you have to manage that. That's something that you have to consider. And with athletics, and we might not have it on this slide, but there's training, there's conditioning that all need to be a part of what you're considering to be on your plate. On-campus involvement, clubs and organizations. I advise many clubs and organizations, and it always puzzles me how many students talk about they don't have time for this, they don't have time for that, but they're involved in clubs and organizations, and they need to put some time to their leadership. They need to put time into their involvement, but those are things you have to consider. And with that comes preparation, with that comes meetings, with that comes events, and you have to consider that when you're beginning to manage your time. Primarily, it's the academic course load. I led off with saying if this is the only thing you consider, then you're doing it wrong. And yes, if that's the only thing you're considering, then we need to talk to you about some other workshops you need to attend, specifically personal wellness. But your academic course load, again, is primarily what you're here to do. Whether we're in a virtual setting or whether we're on campus, you are here primarily to fulfill your academic course load. But now your academic course load will encompass office hours. It might encompass tutoring. It might encompass group work. It might encompass research. So all of those things are included in your academic course load. Going to class, don't forget that. And when we go to the Google Calendar, that's going to be the first thing we show you the input. Outside readings, assignments, and projects. This all takes time. And if we don't understand it properly, if we don't manage it properly, it will get the best of us and we could fall behind. Professor's office hours, I mentioned. Study groups, I mentioned. And tutoring, I've already mentioned. So right from the jump, you see that your plate is not just academics. Your plate is just not your employment. Your plate is a mix, a smorgasbord of all of this. And if you've ever been to a smorgasbord or a buffet, there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it all goes on the same plate, right? And this is what you're doing when you're in higher education. This is the shift that you have to make, because this time is not scripted for you. You have to learn how to script your time. Now, the biggest hindering factor to being able to balance everything and to manage everything that's on your plate is procrastination. Right? Now, a lot of people will say, I'm not a procrastinator. I just prefer doing all my work in a deadline-induced panic. Now, let me help you know, because I'm one of the people that used to say I work best under pressure. No, we do not work best under pressure. We just settle under pressure. That means that if I get a B+, I'm good. If I get an A- this time, I'm good. We do not work best under pressure with a deadline-induced panic. We just settle. And you got to look at this cycle. There's 6 steps to procrastination, and they all begin to hinder us managing our time because we lose time when we procrastinate. All right. Laziness is just a big one. All right. People are just lazy, and they're not used to putting a little more effort into what they need to do. Laziness builds into excuses, then denial. You think that you can take your energy drink and then you'll stay up. Then you're in crisis mode, right? The final piece of this 6 steps is crisis mode. And what happens when we get into crisis mode, that's usually when you go to seek help. But you've already hit rock bottom. You've lost track of your time. You're already failing courses when you seek out support. We want to get you before you even have that false sense of security. And in order to not have that false sense of security, we need you to look at your time and how you deal with it a little bit differently. All right. Here, continue with procrastination. Here is some of the top reasons for procrastination. The projects and the work seem too big. The fear of failure, perfectionism, difficult or unpleasant tasks, and then the simple habit. I talked about that before. I work better under pressure. But let me go back, because we're TC and J, and I know a lot of us are really strong students. And that fear of failure and perfectionism really can hinder you managing your time, because you're spending so much time trying to be perfect that you're losing sense of what else is on your plate. Or for many students, especially our first year students, and even those who are in our 300 and 400 level classes who've had great success, and they might get a B- for the first time. They might get a C+ for the first time. This is new territory for many students. And this is where mental health and academic success work together. You have to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind to be able to get past what you're doing. You have to understand that you need to do the best you can and that nobody is perfect. I know that sounds cliche, but it is true. You can't try to do work to make it perfect. You have to do it that you have to, so that you have an understanding of what you're trying to complete. All right. And when things are difficult and when things are hard, we seem to push them away. We seem to want to wait to do those last. One of the rules of thumb is you should attack your more difficult work, the things that you have challenges with. You should attack that work first before you do the work that you enjoy. Because if you're like me and you like history, I could pick up a history book and I can read that even when I'm tired, because it's going to be interesting and it's going to be something that I want to grasp. So these are some great reasons that you really need to work at with procrastination. Now, what we're here for, time management tips. All right. The first thing I need you to understand is that you need to use a planner. Whether that planner is paper, whether that planner is electronic, you need to use a planner to map out your semester's events. You need to consider the following: academic assignments, practice and other commitments, personal commitments. Consider competing calendars, and I'm going to go to that in the virtual space. Set up monthly through end of semester and do weekly pages as your to-do list. Now, I want to go back to consider competing calendars. Now, we are all many of us are in virtual environments. And what that means is that we are in spaces that we share with other people. When I'm in my office, I don't share it with anybody else. I can close my door and put a sign up to say that I'm closed, and I don't have to worry about anybody bothering me. At home, I still use a sign for my office, but my daughter, who's 8 years old, does not regard the sign. So she will come in when she feels like it, because her calendar is different than my calendar. So when you are in this virtual space and you're considering your time management, you need to understand everybody's calendar. Any calendar that's competing with yours, you need to understand. So let me help you. I'm going to use me for an example. I'm working from 8:30 to 4:30 during the day. My wife is a teacher and she's up from 7:30 to about 2:30 every day. And I have two daughters who are in school, one from 8 to 2:30, and then the other from 9 o'clock to 3:30. Now, what does that mean? That means there are certain points of the day where I have lunch that they don't have lunch. So I can't want to go spend time with them when they're doing their classwork because my calendar is open. And I have to consider that. You have to consider at home, when does your family eat dinner? When does your family get loud? When does your family have company over? These are things that you have to consider in the virtual space. When are you asked to do some family chores? When are you asked to help out? When do you have to play taxi? When do you have to go to the store? These are the things that are new to your daily tasks that you have to consider in the virtual space. So you're not only looking at what's on your plate, you're also looking at the plates of everybody else to identify when is the optimal time for you to do the bulk of your studying. When is the optimal time for you to do the bulk of your group work? All right, so these are things that you have to consider. We also say create a large monthly calendar of upcoming assignments and posts where visible, and then use the online tools or apps. Now, I'm going to show you the paper way to do this first. Okay, we call it working the grid. It's similar to working a paper desk calendar or working a paper or book style, not portfolio, but planner. Okay, here we're telling you what to do. You need to plot all of the things that are listed there, and you need to make time for things. This is where people fail in time management or managing themselves within the time that they're given. Make time for the things that we have listed. All right. And downtime, sleep, and exercise need to be planned. Now, some of you are going to say, I'm just not going to be that anal. I'm not going to be that particular. I'm not going to plan when I go to sleep. Trust me, it will help you in the beginning. All right. You need to fix blocks of time to get work done. And don't set up marathon sessions. One of the things I always say in person is that cramming for studying, pulling all-nighters is not healthy at all. All right. This is why we want to help you manage your time or manage yourself within time a little bit better. So here is what we would present if we were on campus. We would present this to you, and we would tell you that this is a typical person with 4 classes, tutoring 2 times a week. This person that we use is a Bonner Scholar and does 12 hours of community service a week, works 10 hours, and has 2 meetings during that week. Now, already, if you don't work and you're not a Bonner, you have 22 hours outside of your class time available to you. All right. So we're already building more time than most students have to use. Now, again, in the virtual space, you have to take into consideration that many of you are still working, right? So work might still be there, okay? And that's why we have it. Now, what we want to show you is here. And this is from 8 up until about 1 o'clock. We just highlighted all of the free time that you have. First, we put everything that's fixed. Your academic course load, your work. If they're a Bonner, they have to do Bonner hours. If you're in clubs and organizations, all those things we told you to consider, you have to fulfill those duties. So we have it here. This is what I call your fixed schedule. Whenever you're doing time management, you have to start from a foundation, and your fixed schedule is your foundation. Everything else is built on that. When you sleep, when you eat, when you study, when you party, when you have downtime, everything else is built from your fixed schedule. Is the first thing you have to do. All right, now let me show you this. Now we're going to add some study hours in here for you. Okay, watch this. We just added the red in, and these are times where you're able to study. Notice we are using the bulk of the time during the day. One of the things that I always tell students when I meet with them is don't change what you've done from high school. You're used to being in school from 9 to 5. You're used to being occupied in the middle of the day. Whether it's after school activity, whether you were in the band, whether you were on the football team, whether you were a cheerleader, whether you were a swimmer, you're used to spending the time that's there occupied. Don't change that. And when you notice, we're not letting you study past 11 o'clock. Why? Because we believe you need to get some sleep. 'Sleep. Okay, now let's look at what we did. 33 hours of studying, no studying past 11. And this is with a person with a job and Bonner. So there are 22 hours there that some of you don't even occupy. 22 hours that some of you are not responsible for. That shows you that if you structure your time right, you could study for 33 hours and not study past 7 o'clock. And you can do this in the virtual environment. Okay, now I can't see anything going on in the chat. I can't see if there are questions. I know Ms. Anthony's is working on answering the questions, and I'll have time at the end if there are some questions. But this is feasible. This is brick and mortar. This is on paper. It's showing you what we do, all right? So if you're the type that needs to use a paper calendar, that needs to use the book style calendar, this is what I would recommend. Again, starting with that, and then starting with your fixed schedule, and then building everything else on it. And you too can have these 33 hours of study. And that's good for a communications major, an engineering major, a STEM major, any type education major. With somebody studying 33 hours a week, that is on the road to becoming a strong scholar. Now, moving on to the Google Calendar. Now, I advocate for Google Calendars. I love Google Calendars. You can do many of the same things with your Apple calendars. They do have Google Calendar for Apple. So whatever one floats your boat, I encourage you to use. Now, I'm going to run through a couple of things. Everything from the brick and mortar calendar applies to the Google Calendar. All right, everything is there. But what I want to do is run through the rest of the slideshow so then I can come off of the shared screen with this and share with you my calendar so you can see this in real time. So it is important to download the app to your phone, because what I'm going to show you is better suited, and it can't happen on the computer. You have to do it through the app on the phone or your tablet. So it's important to download the app to your phone. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is, and share with you, are something called goals in the Google Calendar.
This is Brad. Brad is sad. So Brad started making changes. Brad knew he'd need some help. So he set a few goals using Google Calendar. Goals like, do yoga. And Calendar found the time. Look at Brad go. Of course, goals don't come easy. Sometimes your boss gets in the way.
Brad?
Luckily, Calendar can move things around automatically. Other times, life gets in the way. But Calendar can help here too. Because helping you stick to your goals is what this story is all about. You can even take a few minutes for those unexpected surprises. Calendar always has you covered. Now that Brad is meeting his goals, everything else seems to fall into place. Like the time he met the new sales rep, George, from Spain. Now Brad has a new goal. And Calendar knew just what to do. Brad, go. This is Brad.
Let me get back now. What we going on? All right. Now, again, when I talked about prior managing yourself as opposed to managing time, the goals are reflected as the red spaces on the brick and mortar calendar. Once you have placed your fixed time, you can use this app, the goals app, portion of the calendar app, to say, all right, now I need to find 10 hours a week to study for Chemistry 201. I want to study for 5 days, 2 hours at the time. You put that into the goals and it talks with your calendar and finds that red time for you. I want to work out 3 times a week for 2 hours. It's going to find that time for you. As long as you have your fixed calendar in place, it will find the time for you. And it showed you that, listen, we understand that there might be some situations that you have to change. Well, we can defer some time. We can change some time. We can move it. We can manipulate what we're doing, still within the time that we have, but we have a device that's aiding us in doing this. It's different from the brick and mortar because now you have to erase, you have to white out. But here, if you use an electronic calendar like Google, you're able to put that time in. Now, I just learned about this. I had never used goals before. I don't know when it came out, but it has been helpful to me in finding time to do things that I need to do. So that was the first piece that I need you. That's why you need to download the app, because this is done through the app and it will talk to your computer. To your interface on the computer, and I'll show you how that goes once we get through. The next piece are Google reminders, because when you wake up in a day, there are some times where there's an agenda list that you need to do that wasn't there when you started the week. All right, so here I'm going to share with you the clip for reminders and show you what they do.
Calendars are great for keeping track of what's next, and to-dos are great for keeping track of what's important, but we often manage them separately, so it's hard to see everything that's going on. With reminders in Google Calendar, you've now got a single way to manage your day. While events come and go, reminders stick with you over time, so you can track your to-dos until they're actually done. It's also easy to create new reminders, since Calendar adds things like phone numbers and addresses automatically. And you can add reminders from lots of different places, including your email. Or with a quick note to self.
Okay, Google, remind me to buy birthday candles.
So you can stay on track from just about anywhere. With reminders, your calendar becomes a complete view of everything you need to do.
All right, so now, so we have Google Goals and we have Google Reminders. Now, I'm gonna show you here, it talks about breaking down tasks, and this is where reminders can be helpful. So when you, and I'm gonna put them all quickly down, right? So let me make sure I got them all. So this will help you with different projects and papers and things of that nature, because you can create reminders throughout the month for yourself, or you can create them during the day. And I'm gonna hurry to that screen. These would be the reminders that you have. So if you have a research paper and you broke it down into a timeline, you can set reminders that here are the due dates for the work that you're doing. Right now, it's not just remember to put gas in the car, remember to stop by the grocery store on the way home, remember to do this for my mom, remember to do this for class, remember to make this, send this email. That's helpful, but it also, the reminder app, portion of the app can be useful when you create timelines for yourself. Okay, now this is the gist of the PowerPoint presentation. I want to spend the next few moments actually sharing my calendar with you. Okay, were there any questions that I need to address, Maddie?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. There was one question that I thought was really interesting that I was hoping you could address. One student asked, is homework time the same as study time? Would those be the same blocks?
So it depends on, and I'm going to show you in the calendar. So I schedule time for reading, and I would separate my homework time because they're two different functions. Now, some people can just say work for Chem 201. And I don't know why I keep using Chem 201 because I'm far from a science major. Some people just say do work for Chem 201, and that will encompass everything. That's going to be preferential. But for me, I would separate those times because my reading is for me to read and gain understanding. Work is application, stuff that I should know and stuff that I'm trying to figure out. So it just depends on your comfort level with that, whether you lump it all together or you view it as two different actions. All right, so I'm going to switch to my personal calendar. Now, this is literally my personal calendar. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put everything on there so you can just see how crazy my day is. So if I add, and I have my wife's calendar on there as well. But, I have my calendar, my work calendar, as some of you see, it's Reverend Jamel T. Johnson. I'm also a minister, so I have obligations to my church, and I keep them all separate, okay? So I just wanted to show you how intricate this process can be, but it can be overwhelming like it is for me, so I'm going to take a lot of this off. So what happens is that I'm going to leave. I'm actually in school at this time, pursuing a master's. And so I have two courses that I'm taking. The two courses are the History of Global Christianity, and the other class is Introduction to Old Testament. So right from the jump, what did I do? I created a calendar for each of those classes, and I input the times that I have them. They're right there for you, okay? I put them there because I need to know that this is fixed time. This is not time. If you open it, it's from 6:30 to 9 all the way until the end of the semester. I put it there. I get a reminder 2 hours before, just in case if I'm not home or if I'm out after work, I need to make sure that I give myself time to make it home. All right. So I just threw those on there for you to see. Okay. Now I am going to go to the Google app now. So the Google app, like I told you, is best to do it on your phone. You probably can't see this, but I'm going to go in now and create a goal. Let me show you how it comes up. So exercise, everybody needs that. I want to work out. I want to work out 3 times a week. I want to do it for an hour a week. The best time is the morning. And it's going to tell me that the calendar will include 3 sessions a week. 1 hour mornings. Now I just need to change one thing on here. So we got that. All right. So I put it in and it's finding the time for my goal. And now it's scheduling the time for my goal. And now I need to find out where they put it. There we go. So now I've added my personal calendar on. And if you see, it has me scheduled to work out on the 24th, tomorrow morning from 8 to 9 a.m. Then it has me doing it again on the 28th at 8. So they're giving me Tuesdays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. They scheduled that in based upon my calendar. Now, I can keep that in, or I can say, you know what, that's not going to be good, but it's a goal that I have. And I wanted to make sure it was put there. So again, you can go. So let's try it again. I'm going to go in. I'm going to put my goal is to study. My goal is to study. Let's go. My goal is to study. And we want to do it 5 times a week for 2 hours a week. Anytime is the best time to study. And I'm going to click it. And now it's going to add it right to my schedule. And it tells me tonight I'm going to study. Tomorrow I'm going to study. But now it shifts because I'm studying from 4:45 to 6:45 on tonight. And then tomorrow I'm doing 7 o'clock to 9. But Friday I'm going at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So it's showing me the time that I have based upon what's on my calendar. Now, if I had everything else up there, you'd see how it fits in. okay? But it's showing me the time that I have, okay? So that is how you employ the study, the goal portion of the Google Calendar. And you only do it from the app, but it will show on your calendar. Now, if you notice over here, I added exams, projects, and testing quizzes. So let's say I'm going to create something else, because this is another thing I suggest you do, okay? So I have first exam. It's not going to be on September 1. It's going to be on September 30th. It's from, let's say it's going to be from 3:30 to 4:30. I'm going to put it on the exams, projects, tests, and quizzes calendar that I created, and I'm going to put it there. Okay. So now my event is saved, and any exams I have, here it is there. Any exams I have in any of my courses are going to come up in this yellow on my calendar. And what I suggest is that you do this for all of your classes. Now, when you talked about, do you count study time versus work time differently, here's where I'm separating test time, right? I'm differentiating that from the actual class. Okay, so I'm using a different color for my exams, my tests, and my quizzes, but it's right there on the calendar for you. And I would suggest doing that for all of the courses that you take. Now, you could view it as, I can go under the history course that I'm taking, and I can say, you know what? Every test that I have for that, any work that I'm going to do for that class is going to be on the History of Global Christianity calendar. Or I can say, nope, whenever I have tests, they're going to be in yellow. Again, it's a matter of preference, but there are two different styles that you can use. Now, here is the reminder. Okay. And I'm going to go back to the app because it's easier for me on the app. So I'm going to go to the app. I'm going to say, I want to create a reminder. I need to stop by the post office. Stop by the post office. All day, doesn't repeat. And now my reminder is created. Now I just have to find, now I didn't put a date for it. Hold on. Let me make another one because I should have put a date for it. Sorry. So we go to the reminder. Remind me to stop by the store. And it's going to be on there. We want to do that today at 7:00 p.m. on Wednesday. And here we go. Do I need to refresh my calendar? I want my reminders to show. Why's my reminder not showing? The study, there's my test, my task. Let me go, hold on. Why is my reminder not showing? 1 second. Where did it go to? It's there. Let's study. Okay, my reminder isn't showing up. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Whew, I'm about to say. Here's my stop by the post office. There's my reminder. And then I can go to it. And once I'm done, I mark it as done and it crosses it out. So reminders, and again, you can put those spotted throughout the calendar and you can do those ahead of time. So if you know, okay, we have an election year coming up, we know we need to put our ballots in the mail when we get them. So let's say we're gonna go put our ballot in the mail on October 20th. We could put a reminder all day long, put the ballot in the mail and it will follow. And when you do it, and here's the other one that came up, it delayed a little bit to stop by the store. We click it, mark it as done. So these are things that you can add to your calendar that will enhance it, again, to make sure that you are following it all the way through. So the gist of this really is you want to make sure that you have different calendars for each course. I'm going to take exams off. I'm going to take everything else off again, just so you can see from the bare bones. I'm going to take task and work off. I added these so you can see what happens. So my classes are History of Global Christianity, Introduction to Old Testament. I also have my study calendar, my exams, projects, tests, and quizzes. All of those are different calendars. When I take the time to map them out, you might do it for the semester, you might do it for a month, you might do it for a week. But when you take the time to map them out, they'll appear in the different colors that you have. And then when you do it properly, this is what you will look like. Okay? You look like this all the way down. Now, you have to remember, and how you can use these is you have to look at the views from a calendar as well. I like this one because a lot of people don't use it. I like the schedule. Okay? The schedule will show you for today, but that was the 2nd. Here's September. So let's go to today. No, let's go stay here for September 2nd. This is all that I have to do. Now, you see some things twice because I share things that I do. I see you, Kyle. I see things that I share things what I do with my wife. So, and then I have her calendar. So I see things twice, but they're different colors. Kyle, you had a question. Did Kyle Lewis have a question? He raised his hand.
He can't ask because it's a panel, but if he does have one, he can type it into the chat and I will.
Okay. Okay. So that's the schedule view that you have there. Okay. Here's again, schedule view. Everything that's there, what color it is, so you know what calendar it's on. Now, another view that I think people need to take advantage of is just seeing what goes on day by day. Okay. Couple days, you know, here it is on the different calendars that I have, what my day looks like. Then we have the week. Here's what my week looks like. I'll look at that on a Sunday night because I want to make sure that I am well aware of what's ahead of me. So I usually look at my week view on a Sunday night, and then daily I'll check my schedule. Not my day one, but my schedule. I want to see it laid out for me that way. So it's similar to what you can see when you look on your Paul's account and you see your weekly schedule, but it's similar to that. All right, so this is just a brief intro to the Google Calendar. The main pieces are making sure that you create a calendar for each of your classes and each of the commitments that you have. So if it's classes, work, and personal, 5 different calendars, and you know, and they all fit here. So and they get different colors, and you fill them in accordingly. You use the goals to help you identify that red time. I'm going to go back to the slideshow to show the red time. You use your goals to create this red time. Remember, the red time wasn't there at one point, but then you found it because it was free time in the yellow. On the Google Calendar, you use your goals to find this red time. That's the biggest change to this presentation that we do, simply because we now have an electronic mechanism to do so. There also are some extensions to the Google Calendar that will help you do it online. But I found that using the app on the phone is the best way to do it. And again, you can do this whether you're using Outlook, whether you're using Yahoo calendars, whether you're using the Apple Calendar as well. I'm going to pause here for questions because I know that there might be some. And I'm going to keep the slideshow up just in case I need to refer to it. So Maddie, if you see the questions, if you can share them with me.
Yeah, I haven't seen any. Some people are asking some specific questions to me about sign-in sheets, but I haven't seen many general questions. So if you have any, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. And I have been checking the YouTube chat as well. There has not been any questions there either. I did figure out that you can, and put the sign in sheet in the YouTube chat as well. I do see there is a raised hand. So I'm going to allow this person to talk if they would like to.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is for Mr. Johnson.
Mhm.
I actually just questioned Miss Anthus, but do you believe that students should do a little bit of work each day? Because that's what I try to do, and I don't know if that's working for me now.
Oh, yes. I believe that you should be doing work every day. Again, if you look at what we have, just looking ahead of you, again, we have you working every day. Now,
No, but I mean like a little bit of each day. Like I have 4 different classes, so I try to do a little bit of each, a little bit of bio, a little bit of chem, a little bit of English, that kind of thing.
yes, if that's the way you do it best, as long as you're getting, so if you're in a 4-hour course, we usually say that you need 8 hours to study. Okay, so as long as you're getting that in the week, you're good. How you break that up is up to you. I suggest doing a little bit of everything daily because you won't become overwhelmed. Now, if you're struggling in a course, it might mean you need to spend a little more time on that, concentrating on that course. So you might say, you know what? I'm going to do 2 chunks of 4 hours to complete my Art History 102 course instead of breaking it out over the week. So it's just a matter, again, it's a matter of preference. But again, when you map it out here, you know that you have to honor that time.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
If anyone else has a question that worked well, you can raise your hand and I can allow you to speak. I'll also say before you go, I'm going to put a evaluation form in the chat. If you could take a moment, I see some people leaving. So before you leave, if you could take a moment to fill out this evaluation form.
All right. And if you need any assistance, if you want to just go over this in depth, we do have appointments that you can schedule with us in our office and we can walk through this with you. It has been very useful for me, as you can see in my personal life. This is not just something that I've created to give to you all. It's something that I use in my personal life, and it has helped me tremendously. All right. But again, the last thing I just want to say before you leave, again, I think this slide will sum it up, is that you have to manage yourself as opposed to managing time. So everything needs to be accounted for when you are trying to create a schedule for yourself. And that's the biggest piece that we want to make sure that you leave with today. We do thank you for your time. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we do a lot of different informative posts. We'll be going live sometime with different techniques and tips. You can call, somebody will answer the phone. You can email us and we will respond to that. We'll be having more workshops, so look forward to that. And we hope that this has been very useful and that people will be able to apply what they learned today into their academic semester. Again, if you need us, reach out to us, schedule an appointment. Until the next time we see you, enjoy the rest of your day and fill out those evaluation forms for us. Thank you.